This is a picture of an Amish horse and carriage. Here we've got a full-size picture of the Amish horse and carriage. I'm using Logitrace 2018 and I've selected tracing polylines. This time I'm going to trace out the whole diagram in one shot. In other words, the carriage and the horse. I always place a small red mark where I start. That way there I don't end up drawing past the starting spot, because that'll cause a cross vector. The fewer mistakes I make, the better the diagram is, the less editing. The Amish horse and buggy are a bit different than the Mennonites. Sort of a different detail to them. More square, more boxy. By using tracing polylines, sometimes I'll touch as I go along, and if it's something complex, I'll touch the diagram about every 1/8 of an inch, and sometimes I'll actually use it as a tracer. I'll run the pen along the line. You can see here I traced the whole perimeter of the carriage and the horse in one go. A lot of times I don't do that. I'll trace it in 2 sections. These small areas, I'll trace them out and then I'll select Done to close up the vector. Here is a good example where I'm going to show using the pen and I'm following the line instead of the touching. It does make it easy to trace a large diagram compared to something very small. So the carriage and the horse are done, and the men sitting inside are almost finished. All we'll have left is the 2 wheel spoke areas. You can see here where I'm using the touch technique. And then I went back to following the line. Each of the spoke areas are separate drawings, so as you complete each one, you select Done and the program completes that vector. And then you select Start and you go on to the next spoke, and when you get close to where you started from, you select Done and it closes the vector. This way here you don't get a crossed vector. When I say cross vector, when you draw and you overlap what you've already drawn, you end up having 2 small lines, and that's going to be a cross vector. And the only way to get rid of that is to edit it out, either here on the program or edit it out with a node editor. A good vector is what these machines like plasma, like CNC router, like even laser. Those machines will try and do 2 lines or a double vector. It'll try and do it. The diagram is coming along. All we got to do now is complete that front wheel with the spokes. We're finished here, and now we'll create the file. Just to look at the file, I loaded the DXF file into Corel, and we'll just check the diagram and have a look at the nodes. Corel does have a node editor. Here I loaded the DXF file into Vectric Aspire 9.5. I like this program because it gives me an idea of how the cut is going to look by using the simulator. But we're not producing any toolpath, we're just checking the file, make sure the vectors are good, and having a look at it visually. Vectric Aspire does not produce a toolpath for plasma. I have also taken that DXF file created and loaded it into SheetCam to have a look at how SheetCam could handle this. This could produce a toolpath for plasma. Now I've loaded the file into the CNC plasma cutter. We're going to set up the lead-ins and we're getting ready for the cut. This cut will be 39 inches long by about 18 inches wide. I had also cut a smaller version. You can see it there on the bottom. I didn't do that intentionally. I made a mistake and I shrunk the file, so I had to cut it twice. Some of the loose parts have to be removed because you don't want the torch head to hit a part that's half in, half out. I was quite impressed here with the wagon wheel spokes. The spokes are pretty fine. Plasma cuts them perfectly, and it's a very smooth cut. Took about 4 to 5 minutes. It's a fairly detailed diagram and the plasma does a nice job. I've taken the cutout and sprayed it 4 times with black trim clad and put it on display.